Hi there everybody and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Addiesdive AD2081. Now this watch is, in my opinion, a marriage of the Doxa Sub 300, as you can see here, and the venerable Seiko Willard. Now this is the reissue version, and I must say thanks to Time and Tide because that is their image. Now you can pick this up for about 180 Australian dollars, so probably about 130 US, something like that. It does come in other colorways, so you've got this nice yellow color, and you also have a standard black dial version. But for this review, I thought the blue with the orange accents would be a good one to take a look at. So let's kick things off with the dimensions of the watch. You do have a 43.3 diameter watch. Now that is mainly down to that cushion case. Internally though, the bezel sits at 41.5 mils. So whilst the watch wears quite large on the base, it does actually look a little bit smaller, and we'll come to some on the wrist shots later. You do have a 46, almost 47 mil top to bottom lugs, and you've got a 14 mil case thickness, again because of that fairly large cushion case. So here is the on the wrist shots. Now, as I mentioned, because you do have that cushion case, the base of it is flared and does look quite large, but I don't think it wears particularly large because of that bezel. Sort of offsets the, I suppose, the large size. You will notice this is on a blue sailcloth strap. That is actually my own. It does come on a steel bracelet, which you'll see in a minute. In terms of specs, nothing particularly outstanding here. I say that because of the fact that, you know, it's a $180 watch, which in Chinese terms is probably on the more expensive end for an Addiesdive. But you've got a Seiko NH35, you've got that flat sapphire crystal and anti-reflective coating, so it is really, really clear and certainly good for sunlight. And you do have that BGW9 lume. Now, there is a little bit of a footage here. It does go down to a slightly lighter version over the hours, but in terms of I suppose legibility at night, you're not going to have any challenges. It is a great lume watch. You do have a signed screw down crown, you can see there, and it is really well recessed. In fact, it's actually quite difficult to pull it out, and 200 meters of water resistance. You do have the 120 click unidirectional lumed bezel. You've got nice coin edge teeth on the side there, so it is quite easy to grip. Moving on to the case and dial, look, the case is nothing particularly special. It's well machined, it's smooth, it doesn't have any rough edges on it, but it is, for the main part, a brushed steel affair with some nice sort of, I suppose, shiny finishing on the underside. The links and the fitting to the case were quite tight, so nice there, and you do have a nice finish on the back of the case there with the Addiesdive logo and some of the information about the specs. If we turn our attention to the dial and the bezel, you can see there you do have that nice blue watch face. You've got those orange, I suppose, markers on the inner part of the bezel, which is really nice. It just has a beautiful look to it. You have applied markers, and again filled with that BGW9 lume, and you can see there you do have a nicely finished date window with really good printing. Actually, I was quite surprised by the level of the printing when I looked at these macro shots. You can see there as well the printing at the bottom, very sharp for a watch at this particular price point. One of the main things I really like about this watch is that bezel. Again, when I looked at the level of the etching on it, I was really surprised. It's very, very fine, and certainly something well above what you'd expect at this price point. Moving to the bracelet though, this is probably the weakest part of the watch, if I'm going to be honest. You do have, you know, very nice solid end links. The challenge that I've got with this mainly is the fact that it isn't signed. So you can see there the clasp isn't signed, and then you have this sort of flat stamped clasp on the underside. To me, that just sort of was probably where they saved money on this watch. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with it. It was quite tight tolerances, but this is probably one of those watches that looks better on a strap. So, final thoughts, guys. Look, the watch is Really, really nice. I like it. It does come up against some pretty stiff competition in the vein of the Addiesdive SD1970. You can pick that up, if I'm going to be honest, probably a little bit cheaper than this watch, but it does present a different look. And for me, that is probably the main point here. This watch is not a direct homage of a Doxa or the Willard. It is a really nice marriage of the two. The specs of the watch are absolutely excellent. 200 meters water resistance, solid lume. You've got a nice etched lumed sapphire bezel. And for me, I think that probably warrants the price point. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do have any questions, please, as per usual, put them in the comment section. And other than that, I will see you in a new video soon. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.